Hi guys, it's Dakota. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm sorry that I didn't get a video last week. It was extremely crazy for me. But I have a little something special for you today that I thought I would do. If it sounds echoey in here, it's because it is. I am in a new room. It's kind of a long story and I don't want to bore you with the details, but I'm just going to tell you that I'm using this room as kind of my, oh goodness, I guess for my YouTube videos and maybe even my craft area. I haven't decided yet. And one of the reasons is because my magic room at the house, I really don't like electronics when I have some kind of magic working, and like maybe I've done some kind of spell work or something and it's in the process of working, and I've called upon the elements or the spirit guides or whatever it is that I'm using for my magic, and then I have all this electronical stuff going on with computers and cameras and all of that. Sometimes, like today, I don't know if you can hear it, but I've got some music on in the background. It just sort of keeps me calm because I'm still kind of nervous about doing videos. And so anyway, it is kind of a long story, but this actually this is a house that we purchased. I can walk down the road. I told you we live down a long dirt road, and this is a house our neighbors moved, and we bought it just as to do with whatever we wanted to do with house. I don't want to sound vain in that by any means, but it was for privacy reasons, to be quite honest with you. So anyway, I have adopted a couple of the rooms here, and for different types of work that I'm going to be doing, and so I don't have this room done yet. In fact, this altar space here, it actually goes on the other wall, but it wasn't working out today, so it's over here and it's echoey, and I apologize. Okay, that is out of the way. What I'm going to do today, and the title of this video is, it's singing bowls. These are singing bowls. I have a couple here. They're not always just for meditation and relaxation and all of that, or at least in my opinion. I have used these bowls for different reasons and different purposes. I am extremely big into vibration. I study hermetics, and so in hermetics, vibration is huge. It's one of the things that we use in our magic. And what better vibration than the singing bowl? Because once they get going, they're not just, like one thing. They actually create a vibration. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just show you how I would use the singing bowl in my magic. Now, there were several things that I could do to show you. I chose a fire magic. I'm going to be using a candle, a tea light candle for it. And this is not going to be a spell. It's not going to be one of Dakota's spells. I'm just going to show you perhaps one of the things that I would use the singing bowl for when I'm doing spell work. Okay? All right, so one of the things, so this is a crystal singing bowl, obviously, and this is tuned to F, which I think is the thymus. I'm really not sure. It's beautiful. Let me play it for you real quick. Hope you can hear it. And it continues to hum for a really long time. I hope that you could hear that when I was doing it. That's the vibration of the bowl. It's still singing, so I'm going to turn that off. Turn it off. I'm going to, whoa, sorry, my incense is about to fall over and burn my house down. Okay. So that's what it sounds like. It's a beautiful sound. These bowls here, I don't know. When I order these, I order these from for the store, and they don't have a tone that they come with. Like this is an E and this is a whatever. They don't come with that. So I really don't know. I need to get one of those things that tell me how. I think there's a phone app actually that you can get for that, but I've never done it, of course. For me, they're just beautiful. The sound is beautiful. I use them in our Reiki room for when I do Reiki attunements, Reiki treatments. I do it for chakras. I do it for meditation and all of that. So they're really awesome, the sound. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I decided to do, because this is one of the things that we get asked about pretty much daily at our shop. And that's about prosperity. People want to do prosperity magic, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it before on the video, on my some of my past videos. So, and I use fire a lot. I use candle magic a lot because, I don't know, I'm drawn to fire even though I'm an air sign. So this tea light, as you can see, I hope you can see. It has been burned because I use it as a demo candle. So that should tell you that this is not, I'm not doing spell work. This is just a demo candle that I use when I'm teaching classes, etc. I use these little tea light candles for that. One of the reasons that I like these with the metal backs is, as opposed to, like, don't get me wrong, I love beeswax and I love soy candles, but the little plastic containers that they come in, sometimes they, they get ruined when the fire is burning, especially if you're using herbs in your candle or in your spell work. And they get ruined, and then you just have to, what do you do with the plastic? I mean, it's plastic, bad for the environment. So what I like are these little metal things. I think, pretty sure they're just aluminum, and they can be recycled. So that's why I like these little metal things, the little holders. And so it holds its own wax. That's the other thing, is you don't I love using tea lights for my candle magic because it holds its own wax until it burns all the way out. The other thing that's really great about them is, okay, remember this is a demo candle, so I've already used it. So what I'll do is I get the trusty Sharpie marker and, just your black marker. And on the bottom of your candle, you can, I just wrote a $ here. You can write a sigil. You could write, if you're doing a healing for a specific person, you could write their name on there. Or like I said, if you have a specific sigil or whatever it is that you're doing, you could write that on the bottom. Anything that you feel is empowering can be written on the bottom. And then you can also, around the sides, like this is, I did this one for just $1. I hope you can see that. I just put $1 on there just to show everybody. I'm not asking the universe for $1, and I'm not asking the universe for anything, except I just wanted to show as a demo that along the edges here, you can put the amount that you want. So if you need $1 or if you need $100, be specific with the amount that you want. Don't be greedy and just say, oh, I need money, because there's consequences to that. So you could write the amount you need on the bottom, however you want to work it. Sigils on the side, again, however you want to work it. Okay, then I've got my trusty shish kebab skewer here, and this is the wooden one. I do have a metal one, and I also got, as a gift, I didn't bring it over here to this new room. It's still in my other room, darn it, that a student made for me, and it's just become my favorite tool. I really love it a lot. I'll show it to you maybe next time. But what you do is you just take your whatever you want to carve in, and you can actually then carve into your candle what it is you want. So a dollar, or your sigils, or if you're doing a healing, write the person's name on there. I like this because this already has holes in it. I poke holes all around my candle. That is I'm going to anoint this with, I'm going to dress this with the oil. And so that way the oil can kind of seep into the candle. So, okay, let me put this down. So, one of the things that I like to use also, so this is a tincture that somebody had made for me. It is it's a mugwort tincture. Let me tell you, this is so strong. I use it for divination purposes. It's a tincture, so you can put a couple drops under your tongue. I did that, and I swear I thought like my tongue was burning off. It's so strong because it's made with the I don't know, 80-90 proof vodka, and you just want to use a couple drops. But what I do is I like to put this in, since it's a divination and I'm working with spirits because I'm going to be calling them. I put it in the bowl. So what I'll do is, well, let me show you this first. So what I have in my trusty bottle here, this is my water bottle. This is distilled water, which I think I like to use. And I'm just going to pour some water in the singing bowl. Now, sometimes if I want to just kind of give that water, even though I don't have to, it's distilled water. I mean, water's water, but it's distilled, so it doesn't have the chemicals in it. But sometimes I'll just give this a spin, just to sort of get that vibration going and get that energy going within the water. Okay, and then I'll take a couple drops of the tincture. This is the mugwort, and I'll just take, I'm just going to put one drop in because we're just showing you. So I've got one drop of the tincture in there that, ooh, smells like a party in here. That is so super strong. But I put a drop of the tincture in there, or the mugwort in there, because that's what I use a lot when I'm trying to commune with spirit, and when I'm asking the universe for help, so or for assistance. Now, once the water and the liquids are in here and you start to spin it, my camera is not good enough, but the water starts to ripple, and if I do it real long, it actually starts to bounce up like a little water fountain. So it's really, really cool. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is, since I do work with the ancestors, etc., I have this oil that my friend in Arizona sent me. It's tobacco, and I work with tobacco all the time. I use it as offerings. I'm looking around trying to find what I did with my tobacco. It's here somewhere. Let me find it. Be right back. Oops, hold on. Well, sorry, I couldn't find my tobacco. It's at the other, it's at the house, of course. But here in eastern North Carolina, we have tobacco fields. Farmers grow tobacco steel. And, I don't smoke. I don't smoke tobacco. I don't smoke. And but I do use the leaves, and a lot of times I will just go up to the farmers and ask them if I can just have a few leaves, 3 or 4 leaves. They're huge. and then I'll dry them. They're usually very accommodating, and I'll dry them. And I like to have the gallon freezer bags. I usually have about 2 or 3 of those. I try to get throughout the year full of tobacco because that's how much I use it. Well, when she sent me this tobacco, I was jazzed. I was like, oh, now, and I will tell you, this tobacco smells just like tobacco that you pick out of the field. It smells so good. Well, so then I decided, you know what I do when I make my oils, because I blend oils and I make oils, I made some oils. I usually put an herb that corresponds, I hope you can see that, I put an herb that corresponds with whatever the intention is. So it's tobacco oil. It's that tobacco oil I just showed you, but I'm using it kind of as an influence and a draw to the ancestors or the spirits. And so I just added a piece of tobacco inside my oil for the ancestors. And what I'll do is I have my little trusty pipette here. I'm going to go in. I'm going to reach. I got a drop of the oil. I'm going to put 2 drops in. I don't know why. It's a demo, so it shouldn't matter how many drops you put in. But I decided to put, well, just 2 drops. That's what I put in, just to show you. And now what I'm going to do is make sure the oil's, ooh, got all over my hand. It smells good. Ooh, I like that. That feels good. All right, so I've got my distilled water, I've got the mugwort tincture, and then I have 2 drops of the ancestor oil or the tobacco oil that I'm using as a draw. Now, the difference when I say I'm using it as a draw, because it's scented, it smells good, it smells like tobacco. So what I'm going to do is draw in the ancestors. I want to draw in the spirits with that smell. And again, I'm just getting everything to kind of vibrate together. All right, now normally I would have my offering bowl here with tobacco in it, and then I might take the tobacco and I will just sprinkle it in the water as well, and then that would be an offering. Or also I would keep a bowl right here, my offering bowl, which is right here. This is the problem with not being in my own place. So this is a little offering bowl that I have, and I would just set it right here, and I would have a bowl of the dried tobacco in it, and that would be given when the magic is done. Then I will take that and I will sprinkle it out in the yard or the garden or the woods, whatever. So again, the tobacco oil was a scent to help bring in the spirits and the energy that I need. When the magic is done, then of course they actually, get the tobacco as the offering in gratitude and thanks. All right, so we have, back to the candle, we have the candle. What you can do then also is on the top, I would sprinkle maybe an herb that has to do with prosperity. Patchouli is a good herb. It works with for prosperity. Also, the other thing is, feel free to put a couple of stones in your bowl. You could put citrine, which is good for prosperity. Aventurine is good for prosperity. I would not put pyrite in there, which is an excellent stone, or lodestone, which is a drawing stone. I would not put those 2 stones in, just because They're a type of metal. I would not want to ruin my bowl, and you have to be careful with those stones in water. I don't know, at least I think you do. But you could put citrine in there or aventurine. You could put any other herbs in there that you want that has to do with prosperity. You could drop a few oils. If you have a prosperity oil, you could drop on there. You could drop, I could have dropped the tobacco oil on there if I wanted. Whatever it is that I'm doing. All right, so then I'm going to take my candle and I'm going to plop it in the bowl. It's in there. It's floating around and I'm going to light it. So what's so cool about what I've got going on here now is that I'm working with the element of earth, I'm working with the element of fire, I'm working with the element of water, and then of course I'm working with the element of air, which is the smoke from the fire, and also my incense, which is right over here, which of course went out because it started to fall out of its little bowl, and when I pushed it in too far and it went out. All right, so now I've got my candle out. Now I've got my candle in my bowl, and feel free, you know, you can grid around the bowl if you want. You could have stones around the bowl. You could write an intention, write what it is that you want. Put that underneath the bowl. And then do your magic, focus and concentrate. Focus and concentrate on what you want to manifest or to release. This is not just about manifesting. You can also release. And now I'll just let that candle burn out. I might come back and I might give it another round of I could be sitting here meditating on the intention that I want, focusing on the intention, maybe come up with a chant, and each time you complete your chant, maybe you just give it three or four or five little spins around the bowl, let that vibrate. That vibration releases that up into the universe, and there you have it. So this is one of the ways that I use my singing bowls. I use them for magic. You can use just about anything on this planet for magic. You just have to get out of the box. You have to think beyond. You have to use your correspondences. You have to use the things that you've learned, whether you have taken a course and have a structure to your craft, whether you're in a traditional coven or whether you're just a practicing witch. We don't just practice because it's fun and it's pretty. We practice because we have the power, and right here I've shown you all the I'm working with all of the elements. I would have called those elements in most likely when I was doing my chant. As I lit my fire and I gave it this spin, I would have sat and I would have said, whatever words I wanted to say. By the element of earth, blah, 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 element of fire, blah, blah, blah. And I would have said exactly what it was that I needed. What were my intentions? I would have said it out loud, or I would have said it to myself if I needed to. And, it's about knowing what you can do with magic and how you can make it work for you. But understand that all of this work that we just did, let's just say this was an actual real spell, all this work that we just did for prosperity, you're most likely, chances are, no one's going to knock on that front door and say, oh, I think for whatever reason I drove by your house and I felt compelled to drop off this money to you. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You still have to make effort. So if you are trying to, if it is about prosperity and you're trying to get a job, or you're just trying to make your rent, or you want an extra, whatever, 20 bucks for groceries, whatever it is, you still have to apply yourself. You have to do something for it. Let's be realistic. You can't just expect to light a candle and poof, everything gets delivered on a silver platter. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so anyway, this is how singing bowls, and one way that you could use singing bowls for your spell work. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.